we're going to get started at my crafts table. Today, I decided to actually trace the back of this because I decided to add the back of the vase so it can look so fabulous. So let's just get started. So we're going to start up here. And I am so sorry I took so long in coming up because something's wrong with my internet connection, so I end up coming on slow. So I apologize today because of my technical difficulties. All right. Okay, first we're going to start with this flower right here. So we're going to do a little of this. Curve. Going up like this. And then we're going to take it and go down into a curve. Like this. And then we're going to put another curve going down. And then we are going to take another curve, go up, around, and down. And we're going to go straight up, curve, and then stop there. All right, and then we're going to go back up here and curve down. All righty. Now, we're going to have to take some of this off because it's actually curving down and not up. So let's do this. Okay. Now, even though this is a permanent marker, I'm able to take some of the things off because this is glass. And just because something is glass doesn't mean it's going to actually stay on. It's going to come off. And it's really easy to use this. But however, if I start painting it, or if you start painting it, you're going to have to outline it. So then we're going to go down, curve, go down, and then stop right there. And then you're going to actually make another curve right here, up, around, and then go down. And then you go up and around. All right, there we go. And now we're going to go right here to the corner. Go, start from here, up, curve going around, go down, go up, and curve around, go down. Yeah, it doesn't look so good, so I'm going to take this part off. So, what is going on with the Scientology world? And of course, Scientology doesn't want to take any responsibility for their actions. They'll either lie about it or blame other people for their mishaps, because that's what they do. The chairman of the board, David Miscavige, loves to blame his staff on each and every single thing he does. He doesn't like taking any kind of responsibility, and so does the regular members, because they feel the pressure from other Scientologists or OSA and their management to actually do something right, even though they're to blame for the mishap. And they carried it onto the street with their neighbors and the protesters, and they just love getting people into trouble. Okay. And this happens worldwide, not just here in the United States. They take it overseas and do it there too. Now, this makes our country look so bad that people are going to think less of us as a country, a part of the United Nations. And guess what? And since Trump is a cult himself, he's been causing problems himself, so he doesn't do anything about Scientology. Because you know what? He's capable of taking a payout from anyone who gives him cash. So is he doing it now? You know what? I don't know. But however, Duggan, his attorney general, is being wined and dined by Scientology. And Nancy Cartwright, that's what Nancy Cartwright did with her. She wined and dined her to actually look the other way while David Miscavige and OSA are sneaking in people from other countries in for their slave labor. And they think they're going over there for a religious visa, where in fact, they're there for slave labor. That's right. They are breaking the law by doing that. And has Nancy Cartwright kept doing it? That part I don't know, but you know what? She did it. And the fact that she did it, no critic, journalist, or anyone else in this country who has been watching the internet would be tolerant of such practices. Because as we recall, back in 1866, although I think it's 1866, Abraham, who was the first Republican president to sign the Emancipation Proclamation, I think that's the way you say that, which stops the practice of slave labor. And you realize back then, African Americans were treated like slave labor. But of course, today, Scientology is the modern day slave owner. That's David Miscavige, and beneath him is OSA, Office of Special Affairs, and then the management. Now, they're thinking, and they're just as bad as he is, that they're working a volunteer position where, in fact, they're working slave labor. And that's where all the members are thinking when they actually join Scientology. They think they're volunteering, where in fact they're working slave labor. And in the slave labor practices that Scientology had contributed in deaths within that organization that they claim is a religion, where in fact it's not. It's a Ponzi scheme, a business. And they're hiding behind the Fourth Amendment. And okay, we're going to take this, curve it around, and then we're going to actually make a gap right here. Going down. Now we're going to take this end and we're going to go up, straight up after making a curve, and then go down. All right, there we go. And then we're going to make a line right here to make it look like it's folded down. Okay, but down here, we're going to actually have to make the curve just a little bit more bigger, and then it'll be okay. So, and then we're going to take this. It's going to be a little bit more bigger. Oh, no, actually, it's going to go straight down. Okay. So it's going to go straight down. Oh, wait, this is actually bigger than this. So I'm going to erase this again. Okay. So I did at the same time. Yeah, I decided, since this is taking too long and there's no colors popping up when I'm using these paints, and I had to add coating after coating to actually make it look like it's an actual color, because every time I apply the paint and it's dry, you can't even notice that it's a color. So you're going to have to paint over it again. Now, I did not get in touch with the company, so I'm going to have to actually get in touch with them today and let them know. Now, are you who are an artist and is working with glass? Call the company and tell them that you can't notice it's a color because it's too clear. So I'm going to keep on working on it. It's horrible that that happened. So I'm going to take this off. That's what I was doing today. All right, so this one here is sort of bigger than the other. And when you actually draw on a canvas or a pad of paper or even a glass, don't pay any attention to detail. Here. Ugh, all right. We have to actually go a little farther down. I am getting it from the other side of the glass. So we're going to take as long, but still, we are going to all righty. So there we are. I'm going to take some of this paint off. Now, it doesn't really have to be the exact clone. So I'm going to go up, go all the way here, curve down, go all the way around. Of course, we can't pay any attention to details. So we're going to, okay, and this is going to be a little bit more bigger. So we're going to take this side. We're going to make a form of a triangle going down. And then we're going to go up, make a point, go up and around, and then go into a circle. And then okay, so here we have to okay. All right, so we are going to go up and go all the way down right here. And then we're going to go into a curve. Okay. So we're going to take the curve. Oh, and we're going to make a nape right here. We're going to make a bud right here. So here we go. We're going to go up and then down. That will be, it's a little too dark. So actually a bud in them, give that bud a color. So we're going to have to make it just a little bit more bigger. So we're going to go up. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this has to go into a triangle. So we're going to go down like this. Up around, and then we're going to draw an angle up like this, and then go down. Okay, it's a little bigger, but you know what? It's better than nothing. I don't want to spend too much time on it. And we can't pay it too much attention to detail because then it'll be shoddy. All right. Okay. Now we are going to, let's see here. All right, so then we fix this a little bit. Now it doesn't really have to be the same, but at the same time I'm too much of a perfectionist. But and too much what's the word I'm looking for? Too much detail. We can't pay attention to too much detail. We just have to draw. So I'm gonna start up here, and then we're gonna draw in the curve, and then we're gonna go around and stop here. Okay, now we're gonna erase this. Okay, this one's gonna go down. And what I'm doing is just paying too much time to detail, and it's holding me back. So that's not what we're supposed to do when it comes to drawing. We have to just draw, whether it's on canvas, paper, or glass, because everything has to be different, or else there's a lot that we that it's gonna actually, I mean, people actually drove copies of the Mona Lisa, and they would claim that it's actual painting of, what's his name again? Yeah, my brain is shoddy. If I don't take my medication, then that's it. I've been sharing with you that I have ADHD, a disability, and bipolar. So since Scientology is claiming that there's no such thing, and this is something that psychiatry came up with to enable people, but you know what? That's not true. They're really there to help. So, and just because a person has a disability of some kind does not mean they can't perform a certain task. So, of course, some people have a disability, but you're not going to able to tell that they have one. And for example, me as an example, I got a disability, ADHD and bipolar, but I'm able to navigate my way through life. I can read. Can I follow directions? Yes, but and since I have ADHD, I have a hard time paying attention. And with reading, I take a little bit longer to actually read. So, but I can still read, and nobody can hardly ever tell that I have a disability. And it has to depend on the individual. But, and Scientology treats people with disabilities like they're worth nothing. And they're worth, people like me are worth something. People in a wheelchair are worth something. And as you can tell, they treat Audit LA like she doesn't even matter, because they end up blocking the sidewalk and enabling her to even pass the sidewalk. So she has to call the police, and that they're picking and choosing who is on the sidewalk and trying to walk down that sidewalk. So she had to call the police. The police had to tell them that they are not able to pick and choose who walks down that sidewalk. So, yeah. And she's one of the protesters demonstrating on what Scientology is doing, not just cruel practices, but trying to enable people to do anything. And one of them is making Audit LA. They're making Audit LA to go in an opposite direction, because they think, oh wow, she can't pass this. It's too big. It's a vehicle. They're calling her a wheelchair a vehicle, which is horrible. So that would be an insult to anyone who is sitting down or in a wheelchair. So she had to call the police and tell them, and they actually went to L. Ron Hubbard Way and saw this firsthand, and they told them that they can't pick and choose who goes down the sidewalk. So, of course, without a choice, they actually let them go. They actually let her go down that street. That's another thing. They think they own the streets. And that's how they end up taking over all of Clearwater, because they don't want anyone who's not a Scientologist to be in the downtown area. Now, if it continues, they're going to take over all of Clearwater. They already have businesses in downtown Clearwater. So, and of course, they want Garden Avenue because guess what? It's because of the protesters. They thought they needed the street to order the bill L. Ron Hubbard Hall. They don't need that sidewalk or street. And according to the 13th Amendment, they're not allowed to do that. They're not allowed to take over any streets in this country or buy each and every property just so you can prevent anybody from walking down the sidewalk and passing through. I mean, yes, there's cars going by, but however, I think they look the other way because they want it to look like it's a busy town, where in fact it's not. It's empty. It's a ghost town. So they did that to get rid of protesters, which, on the other hand, they have a right to protest. So they're able to do that. And according to the 13th Amendment, the downtown area, the sidewalks and all of the street belong to everybody, not just one person, not just one group, not just one organization, but everybody. Okay. Now, we're going to take this and then we're going to actually take this mark and go straight up, down, and around. Okay. And then we're gonna have to take this. Oh, and I got a whole new container. Yeah, the other one was cracked and it was ripped, so I had to get rid of it. So I got the new container, and it had grapefruit in it. It had actual fruit in there. So now, let's see here. Am I able to get this off? Let's see. No, it doesn't look like it. So we're going to have to forget it. But yeah, we'll just do the best we can. So we're going to actually turn it into a leaf. We're going to go down. Oh, going to go up and make it into a knit. Yeah, I can't get it off. All right. Now, one of the techniques I learned in my craft is improv. And what it does is you come up with something on the spot without a script. Is it hard to do? Well, no. So they actually did it in vaudeville in the earlier years. It looked that way. Did they actually need a script? Did they actually use improv? I'll find out about it later. Okay. Okay, we're gonna finish this off by cutting it off. Okay. All right. Now we're gonna take this, curve it, go down like this, curve it around, go down and around. And then we're going to continue to do it. Go around and stop. So I'm going to get this off. But it has to be, the marker has to be dry in order to actually get anything done. Because once it dries, then that's it. It's not going to come up. But you do have a little time to actually erase it, do whatever you can to fix it. So, okay. All right. So now, okay, we're going to go down and make a curve. And here we actually going to go straight down. Okay. Straight down. And then make a curve right there. And we're going to start from here, go into a curve. There. All right. It might not match, but that's okay. Because usually you're not supposed to be paying too much attention to detail. So we're going to have to do the best we can. All right. Now, let's see here. So then we're going to take this point right here. Wait, we have to move this over a bit. You know what? I keep forgetting to shut this off. And I'm waiting for the phone call, so let me see. Okay. Now, my important phone call, a Scientology project that I'm doing, and it's part of my advocacy to see what I can do to keep from Scientology, to keep them from taking over. So what I'm doing, I'm not going to tell. So I'm waiting for that phone call to come in. Okay. And what is it? I'm not going to tell. I'm not going to say anything until the project is completed. So here we go. All right. Since it won't come off, so you're going to have to do as quick as possible because it's permanent marker. Even though it can go on and come off in 2 seconds flat, there's only a certain amount of minutes that's going to stay because it is permanent marker. So I'm going to take that and go down to this and stop there. So the point, stop here on this side. All right, there we go. And then we are actually gonna make a curve coming up from here. Okay, and then we're gonna take this, go around, stop right there. And then curve it down like this and make a point. Go up like this. All right. Now, it's gonna go up and then it's gonna go down. Okay. And we're gonna make another curve down like this and then go up. Now this is gonna be the other leaf. Go up, then make it there here, and then go into a curve, like so, go up, and then we're gonna go down, even though it's probably not gonna match. I'm gonna do the best I can. Okay. Of course, need time to actually go down. Now, and there's another thing that I notice. Regular religious groups are not allowed to go into the other public schools. It's against the law. They can't even pray in graduations, but in some cities and states, they're actually letting them do that, which they can't do because it, it violates the Constitution. Technically, somebody's going to be breaking the law, even though we're not seeing to it. But, however, we are not allowed to go into schools. No religious organizations are allowed to go into schools because they have the freedom of religion. And somebody could be Catholic, Protestants, Buddhist, Wiccans, Native Americans, and they can't do whatever it is they prayers that they're doing is because they have their own practices and their own languages. So now somebody can be there and not understand what another person's saying or doing because either it's not their practice or they can't speak English. So, and Scientology is just walking in and claiming, oh, they're not a religion, they're a religious philosophy. And they usually use their front groups to go in and claim that they're helping, which what they're doing is recruiting. They're using it as a recruitment tactic. So now, if my question is, why are they going into schools when the regular religions can't go in? It's because they're claiming we're a religious philosophy. And it sounds like, oh, they're coming off as not really being in a religion, but think like a religion, but isn't. And that is fooling the educational board, the school district, by saying that. But what are they doing outside of the school system? They are actually saying and calling people religious bigots. But of course, they are saying in the public school area they're a religious philosophy. But when they're out in public outside of the schools, they're actually calling themselves a religion. Now, they're a religious philosophy when they go into schools, but when they're not going to schools, oh, they're a religion. You can't use religion and go into the schools. That is against the law. That's against the Third Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and freedom of religion. Now, people don't have their freedom of religion when another religion goes into the schools and thinks they're helping. It doesn't matter whether they're helping or not. A religion cannot go to schools. Now, with the private sector, they can't do that. So, okay. Let's see here. Now, this is curving. So, we're going to curve going down, up, join right here. Now, it might not look good and it doesn't curve as well. So we're going to see if we can get parts of it off. No, can't. So we're going to go up. We're going to curve up. All right. So you're going to have to, once you put this ink towards the glass, there's a certain amount of seconds that you're able to take it off without it sticking on. So, so yeah, you're going to have to try your best to take it off. If it doesn't, you can just have to do the best you can. So then, after that, all right. So after you connect that, you go down right here. Okay. Go up, go down, and then curve up, going into a point, and then move down. And then go up. All right. So we're going to take a little of it off. And then go down like this, up. That's a little too much down. Okay, so try your best. Okay. Some of it is actually coming off. Okay, so now we are, okay, let's see. We are actually gonna make a point right here. Alrighty, and then okay. Okay. Now we're gonna go take this, go up, and then let's see. Oh boy. Oh, okay. So we're gonna take this off real quick because it doesn't match. And then it has to go all the way around. Okay. There. Okay. Now we're gonna actually take this part right here and then curve it going around. And then going up by making a little check mark, like going up like this. And then we're gonna go around. All right, and then we are going to go around. Okay. All right, so I did the best I could. All right, let's see here. We got that. And then we're going to actually take it and then the bottom and then just come up like this. Go up. And go down. All right, let's see here. It's supposed to go down. So, okay. So then I'm going to go straight to the point right here. There. And then go down into a curve. Make a point. Curve. And then make a point going up. And then go down. Alrighty. We got that. All right. Thank you, Maud, for coming in. All right. And two of my mods just came on, everyone. So, all right. Yeah, this is what it looks like so far. Oh boy. Okay. Now, okay. Now, okay. Alrighty, let's see. What else is there? All right. Then this is go down. So we're going to take this and make a curve, and that's going to go down. And then go down. Okay. So then once you go there, fix this. And then this is going to actually stop. And then you're going to make another and then curve down. And then go up. And down. Okay. All right, since we got that, we're going to actually, all right, we got that. All right, then we're actually going to take another point right here. We're going to join this like this. Okay, I think I'm going to just handle it another day. So, whoa. Okay. So maybe, let's see if we can actually make the top. There's 3 rosebuds. So now I'm going to start on this and then do this another day. Stick it right here. Oh my gosh. Okay. Now, start on this. All right. Now, we're gonna actually, we're gonna use the green and the red. All right. Now, and then after Scientology goes into those schools, from there, they would try to start recruitment. Do they actually succeed? I don't know. It looks like some of them did, but because they're in there. Because Nora, as you recall, Nora Ames, she actually went to a regular high school. So Scientology was able to actually get her mother, both her and her mother in, and her father in. And still have her attend public school. I guess it was her parents' idea for her to stay. So the Scientology parent is able to let them continue with their schooling there. Okay, now, oh my gosh, we are going to actually use the red. Yeah, it looks like this is running out. All right. Oh, geez. All right. Well, nothing's coming out. Is it actually still there? All right. I haven't done this yet, but I still have to call the glass company and tell them that this is a shoddy looking paint because it's not actually showing its color. So you have to paint over whatever it is you paint because it's so clear you can't even tell it's a color. So call the can. Remember to try and call the paint company later, and then later I will call the project that I'm working on right now outside of my house to see if I can complete the task. What kind of task is it? So we're going to take a paint. Now, later on, I have to go and refill my prescription, my ADHD medication. Now, as you know, I'm sharing what I'm experiencing with mental health care and my disability. So I made that decision. In the fact that Scientology claims that psychiatry is a very abusive practices where in fact they help, not hurt. So that's why I made the decision of using it as a platform because I originally came in as an animal rights activist. I'm still doing that. But then things also added on besides my animal rights activism work. I'm also taking on mental health. I'm advocating for mental health as well as animal rights, children's rights, elderly rights, and then regular adults, human rights. And I thought, you know what, since they're a dangerous organization, I'm on as well. Now, Scientology had a clever approach. They are actually keeping secret on what they're doing to their victims' animals, which is putting rat poison in their dog food. And if they're not doing that, they're drowning them. And then they're doing it in secret. And of course, when they do that, there's no evidence that they've been doing that, which in fact they have been, because all the facts points towards them. Because the members that once were members of Scientology aren't anymore, and all of a sudden their animals are dropping like flies. So, okay, let's paint. Oh boy, still need my glasses. So I took learning disabilities on and mental health because of those reasons. I mean, it just went from one topic to another. Now, I am so happy that I took on all three issues. They also are money laundering, that's where the human rights come in, human trafficking, money laundering cult. So what they do is just squeeze money out of their members. They get them to put their house in a second mortgage, and they would get them to take out loans, paying for courses, and dipping into their kids' college funds. And it's just horrible what they're doing. Okay. And then when they take out a second mortgage on the house and find out what they're actually doing, they are thinking, oh my God, I can't believe we're paying for this. And they stop going to churches, stop attending Scientology services. Okay, I'm going to check on this phone call and see if it's what I'm waiting for. And I'm sharing this with you, but I'm not going to actually say what organization I'm going to. Hello? Yes? Okay, stop calling this number. Okay, of course, it's another telemarketer. So it's not what I'm waiting for. So it looks like I have to call them later. And plus, when you take on and advocate and go to an organization, you're, you're going to have to actually keep it low toned and not say where you go and how you're doing it. You can explain that, yeah, you're going to perform a certain task, but not say what organization you're going to. So, all right, let's continue. And now I am working on the green right now. And going here. All right. Painting this. Coming down here. Okay. And yeah, it looks like I'm going to have to draw in something to fill it because it is actually not blending in to what I'm doing. So I have to go here and then enter curve. And it looks fine. So I'll go here, paint on this side. Okay. Go down. All right. Now I'm going to go up here, paint the rest. Now with these flowers right here, I want to wait on actually getting the magenta, but I can work on the white, even though the white is not coming in. It's a white color. It's coming in as clear. So I'm gonna actually have to wait on that. So let's see here. I have to close this up right there. Gosh. Now, one of my projects came in really good. So now we're going to go down here and actually work on the green. Up. All right. Up. So I'm down here working on this. Does it look like it's going to come out as a green color? We'll find out once it dries. Okay. And then we're going to go here and see if it'll come out. Because it's so clear, you're going to have to actually, if you're an artist, you're going to have to put a certain amount of coats with this product, and it's a really shoddy paint. Ugh. Okay. So, all right, go up here and paint from here. Then come down here. And there it is. Now we're going to go here. We're going to start painting from down here and go up. Now, okay. Now, just in case nobody likes me painting while talking about Scientology, I'm sorry I bored you, but I am trying to come up with creative concept to add the theories to my show. So and this is one of them. So then I'm gonna come here, paint this. Then I'm gonna come here and then start painting this. Now, I didn't grow up here in Ohio. I grew up here in Cleveland, Ohio. Not Cleveland, Ohio. I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts. Of course, oh jeez. Yeah, hold on. I got another one. Yeah, once nature calls, then that's it. You've had it. But however, you come back, collect yourself, and go back to the project. That's what you're going to have to do. And I'm sorry I had to do that. So, okay. Now we're going to go down here. And then okay. All right, so I'm right here painting. Sorry about the dead silence. So, and let's see here. Okay, now, all right. The favorite thing that Scientology loves to do, of course, you know, is recruit. Now, they would do anything to get people to actually join. I mean, they're going into schools, they're going out to the streets, they're going right by other businesses to actually, as you know. And it's just possible for any of the officials saying, yeah, you can't do this, you'll get a fine if you do that. Now, do they do it when it comes to going to the schools? Well, you know what? I don't think so. Since it's not really a serious crime as murder or money laundering, but however, they're getting away with that by getting law enforcement to look the other way when they're committing a crime. That's what Tom Cruise is doing. And that's what David Miscavige is doing. And the original person that did this was L. Ron Hubbard. Hubbard started all this. All right. Now, all right. Now we're going to actually go up like so. Like this. With my paint. Is it going to show up after it dries? We'll just see. But so far, this paint right here that I painted in isn't. So I'm going to have to tell them that so they can improve on it. So it's a little more here. Ready? Let's see. Now we're going to go here. Paint this little area right there. Now, later on, when I pick up my medication, I'm going to see if I can actually see if they have glass paint. If not, then I have no choice but to go online and get it. So, and of course, now each and every time Scientology recruits, nowadays, they're failing, and it's due because of the internet. So now people in the past didn't know what they were doing, and very little information got out in the 70s, 80s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Now in the 90s, internet was starting to come around when people were traveling on the information highway in the internet. So going into the late 90s, where the internet is, America Online started traveling on the internet. And the guy that invented it, I forgot his name, used that platform to get businesses, homes, news organization to go on the internet and advertise and give out information out to the general public. And of course, Scientology was actually stopped when it came to the internet because it's a modern day Pandora's box. Since now people can take pictures and show everybody and the world what an organization is doing. And that's the criminal organizations do it. And one of them is actually La Cosa Nostra and the Mafia. Now, Mafia has taken a different approach to try and move away from the cameras by going further under the radar. Is it working? I don't know because I haven't kept up with it, and they really are looking on what's going on via internet. So Mafia has gotten a little bit soft when it came to it, according to Dominic Sicali, and I think it's because of the internet. That's what I'm thinking. But he's also thinking Mafia's getting soft, and in fact they are. And I think it's due because of the internet. So, but Scientology keeps on drawing that attention to themselves, especially when it comes to the internet, because it's the PA in the media, multimedia, that's putting them out there, and that's what they're all about. And in the process, there again, protesters, journalists, and other critics. And they are getting the information and work right out there by protesting, doing their job, which is a journalist. And then the former members are an instant critic because they left and they're spilling all their secrets. And that's how it's coming onto the internet. And other people who never joined Scientology are actually taking on that practice as well. Now, with me, I started out as an animal rights activist because of the horrible things and sufferings that animals are going through due to Scientology. But then all of a sudden, they are just abusing people who have mental illness and other challenges. So, so now they're speaking out against it. So technology and it's just furthering information right across. And that's how people are finding out via internet. They're not able to actually get away with what they're once was getting away with, which is criminal activity. Okay, now yeah, this paint is so shoddy. I have to get another one. But at the same time, it's a waste because the company thinks because the color is showing in the bottle, they think it's not showing on glass. And forget it because it's actually it actually sees right through what you just drawn or whatever project you're doing. It's not really showing its colors. I'm gonna have to get a new color. I mean, new paints. So I'm gonna try. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find it at Walmart or at Target. Even though I'm doubting that there's any at Target because